You know what I'm saying?
What's going on, Raider Nation? Week in review. Let's go. What is going on, Raider Nation? It is your boys, Raiders
What
Primos,
is
back
good?
again with another live show. If this is your first time joining us, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and hit the bell so you could be updated with future content. We have a lot
Yeah.
to talk about today. Nate, we've been away for about 3 to 4 days, and there is Derek Carr talks coming out again, but this time it was up and it was down. We talked about how the Raiders did not allow Derek Carr to go seek out a trade partner.
Yeah.
Now they have agreed to terms that he can go out and seek a trade partner if they are willing to give up some compensation, meaning they are willing to work with the Raiders and give up some draft capital. There's been the Josh Jacobs talks with contract extensions. I know they were heating up for a little bit. Now they went quiet. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss some Aaron Rodgers rumors that we're hearing. And we're going to talk about Scott Turner, who is coming on to the Raiders staff as the offensive passing. I believe he's the coordinator. Yes, pass game
Yeah.
coordinator for the Raiders offense. But before we get into that, Nate, how you doing, bro?
Been doing good. Once again, just keeping on grinding, you know what I'm saying? Just as the season just finishes, you know, things are starting to be a little more accurate. I would probably say like in terms of the Raiders' future, like it keeps on shrinking, kinda for me. Um
Yeah.
our choices in it, and we've been pretty good. Yeah. What about you?
Feeling good. Really been diving into this the Raiders news. It's been quiet, Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, but it's nothing big, It's nothing like, oh, the Raiders did
Yeah.
this, the Raiders did this. It's more of just rumors and talks. It's like, no, we want to see what will the Raiders do. And we got 10 days to see what the Raiders will do. 10 days.
10 days.
Countdown begins. What are the Raiders going to do with Derek Carr? I'm gonna say that for last because I feel like we're gonna have a lot to talk about with the Derek Carr situation. But in other news, the Raiders hired Scott Turner, the former Washington Commanders offensive coordinator, to the coaching staff as the passing game coordinator. Um, Now, the rankings for the Washington Commanders, the Washington's offense finished 20th in total offense, averaging 330.3 yards per game. Now, he's coming in as the passing game, so I'm really not really looking at the rushing attack. That's really where they were really dominant in finishing in the top 15 in the NFL. In the passing game, they were 204.2 yards through the air. That was per game, 21st in the league. And that is what he's coming in to try to help this Raiders offense passing game out. How you feel about this hire? I mean, that I don't really feel comfortable. I mean, you already have Mike Lombardi and Josh McDaniels already calling the plays, so it's like for me, why is he even there? Like, is our
Uh,
offense really going to be that bad that we need more offensive coaches? I mean, what is
yeah,
your take on this, Nate?
yeah. It's kind of a weird signing because, like, it's. I feel like that's gonna be like one of two, three weird signings of the offseason because you always have those weird signings. Um, but yeah, maybe that's like one of like the tiny bit that they're gonna do in terms of like fixing the offense. I don't know. Um, I don't even think that's gonna really do anything. But right now it's kind of useless because I feel like defense is what they need to focus on, but not changing their defensive coordinator because you can't. But just focus more on the defense. But hopefully they do that. It doesn't really mean anything, but yeah,
Yeah, and
it's just another
speaking of
guy.
Patrick Graham, he did coach the Senior Bowl today. I don't know if I think he was the head coach of the Senior Bowl. So
Yep.
I'm really interested to dive into that game and see some guys that we looked
And
at.
that's tomorrow, right?
No, I think it was today. It was today.
It was today.
Yeah,
Wait. Oh, okay.
yeah. The Reese's Senior Bowl was today. So like the Sydney Browns, like that's one of the guys that you like on the defense side of the ball. Um, Andre, wide receiver from Princeton, I believe. He was playing this game. I want to get a good look at him. Jaron Hall was playing in this game. He's a late quarterback. A lot of people don't trust BYU quarterbacks. I want to get some more. This will be like me actually watching him play. Like I'm really excited to see how he did out there. I hope no one spoils it for me because I have not seen the Senior Bowl yet. But in Raiders news, Josh Jacobs and the Raiders, they were in contract extension talks, but they have quieted down. Today, Josh Jacobs was asked about the contract extensions, and Jacobs had this to say. He said, "I'm not going to lie. This is where I want to be. I've grown a fan base here. I'm deep into this organization. I broke records, and I built a home here." When asked when asked furthermore about the contract extensions, he says he hasn't heard from the organization, but that he wants to stay in Las Vegas. He's also said that this is where he wants to be, but at the same time, the contract has to make sense. He's not going to let them come in and disrespect me or anything like that. Josh Jacobs is coming off of a season where he led the NFL in rushing yards with the 1,653 yards and tied a career high with 12 touchdowns, good enough for fifth in the league. He also set the Raiders franchise record for most rushing yards through a player's first 4 seasons, passing Hall of Famer Marcus Allen. Nate, what do you have to say about this, man? The contract talks that were heating up. This is a guy we really have said we need a lock.
Yeah.
You cannot let this man walk in free agency. And yeah, you can sign him
Like
on the franchise tag,
yeah.
but I would rather you lock him up for his prime years. What is
Yeah, bro.
this
Like,
telling you with the contract extension talks between him and the Raiders?
um, he's such an important piece. Like I feel like he will boost any quarterback that will be starting next year. And I feel like him being in the lineup with his being in his prime, yeah, I guess he would say in his prime right now. Uh Hopefully they just like where would the how expensive would he be?
If they franchise tag him, he will be around $10 million for this season, for this upcoming season, if he
Okay.
was to play on the franchise tag. If you're looking at extension, I mean, his asking price may be at 14 mil, maybe 14, 15 mil. I have to look at who the highest running back is getting paid now, and I think it's Saquon. I could be wrong. Um, let me. I know it's either 15, 16 mil he may be asking for, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't pay a running back that. But then again, it's Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs. Is
I mean,
Let me
personally, I
see,
would
running
just
back paid. Oh, it's Christian
at this
McCaffrey.
point.
That's the highest
Oh
paid. Christian
yeah,
McCaffrey is the highest paid. Christian
yeah. Rip the
McCaffrey, he's
Niners.
averaging about 16 million per year. So you would have to go above that. And is Josh Jacobs worth like 16,
Not yet.
$17 million a year?
Not yet. Hopefully
Like
not. Hopefully not yet. But right now, no.
the thing
But
is,
I would
running
say,
backs come and go. We've seen this with Ezekiel Elliott. Hell, we've seen it with Christian McCaffrey. You know, he got traded to the Niners. Yeah, is he popping off? He is, but injuries have set him back. And
yeah,
he just was glad that he's on a Niners team that isn't a total dumpster fire. That, he has
yeah,
offensive line actually blocking for him, that he's not having to take too many hits. Um, that's the question I think the Raiders have to ask themselves. Is Josh Jacobs worth $16.5 million or $17 million? And then because you also have to then play the part, we want to build this defense. We want to build the offensive line. So is paying a running back $17 million worth it? I think 14 is all right with me. I think 13, 14 mil for Jacobs would work for the organization, but will it work for Josh Jacobs? That's the question it has to work for both parties. Josh Jacobs was playing like a madman last season. We all know this.
Yeah.
It's really going to come down to his asking price. I don't know his asking price, but based off what he did last season, he's gonna want that top running back money.
Hmm. Hopefully he like does a Brady and be like, you know what, I'll take I'll take 10 mil.
Oh,
But
I think no, I think he does deserve. Like I said, I think he deserves more than
yeah,
$10 million.
yeah,
I think
he
he's
deserves
in the
more than that.
13, 14 range. It may, and the thing is, we have to also think Hunter Renfro, Darren Waller. Maybe they can restructure their contracts. Same with Chandler Jones. Then you got the money that Derek Carr's contract is going to free up. So you're going to have a lot of money to spend, and maybe you can give him that 15, $16 million. But the thing is, he is 24 years old. If you sign him to a 4-year contract, you're gonna get him through his prime, and then someone else will get him to the end of his prime at the 28, 29 range. That's really that's a lot of talks that are gonna have to happen between the Raiders and Jacobs. That's really where it's gonna come down to.
Yeah. It's just hopefully whatever we do, it comes out to be, you know, good and we don't oof,
Like I
especially
said,
now.
that man has to come back, and you got to make sure he's playing with the silver and black next season, and for seasons after
Yeah.
that. But speaking of contracts, there's a lot of Aaron Rodgers rumors going around there. They're heating up again. The Aaron Rodgers rumors. I
Yeah.
thought they were dead. I tried to, I gave my opinion on it. Would we be upset, with Aaron Rodgers coming to the Raiders? No, we wouldn't. But there's that contract that we have to think about. Shout out to Aladdin that has came in. Shout out to you, brother. Um, let's
What
talk
is
about
up?
it, Nate. You like Aaron? Do you like Aaron Rodgers coming to the Raiders? And if so, I mean, why? Why is that?
Do I like it's like yeah, the nation is back to being split now. But I feel like mostly people would actually like knowing in their hearts they would obviously would like Rogers to be in silver and black, but the people looking also on the other side of the nation looking forward and being like, what if we don't win a Super Bowl with him and we waste tons of draft capital, tons of money, and he retires and we're just looking like, I don't know, the Colts when everybody's after their prime and just go to their team. Um, but per, for me, Aaron Rodgers,
Let me give you a
for,
breakdown real quick.
for me, I actually don't. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man.
Okay, here's we're gonna get. I'm gonna give you a little bit more information because here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers contract, guys. Let's break this shit down. Aaron Rodgers signed a $50 million deal in 2022 with the Green Bay Packers in the offseason. If traded, that team that takes on that contract in 2023 is going to take a $31 million cap hit in 2023. That $30 million that you're saving up for Derek Carr, you're then giving that money to Aaron Rodgers. And then we are back to complaining about what, Nate? Complaining about this defense. We're back to
The
complaining about this defense because we can't go out and sign top guys that can come in and really be difference makers on this defense. And then people are like, well, you could just fix it next season. Well, not really, because then Aaron Rodgers is due $40 million the following season, and then $59 million the following season, and then $53 million in 2026. Do we want to take off the contract? That's the thing. Do we want to
and
take on that contract? I mean, hey, Van City is all for it. Van City's all for it.
it's not only that. If we get Aaron Rodgers, we're basically looking on the path that the 49ers was looking on last year. Or no, this year, whatever. I'm already I'm already saying last year, bro. This is
You're already
tough.
into next season. I mean, hey, we're there. We're
But
there.
yeah, I feel like if we do get Aaron Rodgers, the ultimate goal that we won't like we're expected to be like, all right, let's get this Super Bowl, and it's like I don't want to feel like that with with Rodgers, and I want to feel
Hold
like that
on.
with like a
Sorry to
young
cut you off,
quarterback.
Nate. I didn't know this, Van City. Thank you, bro. Thank you for pointing this out. Van City says, no, it's not that way. There's a team option that, if exercised, Rodgers will only count 15 million against the cap next season. That will leave the Raiders with 65 plus million to address the defense. I did not know this, Van City. And if that's the case, okay. Like, now let's talk draft capital. Are we willing to give up our first round pick and our second round pick of this year, just like we did last year for Devontae Adams? Are we willing to give up draft capital where you can go get a Jalen Carter to really solidify that defense, or go get a quarterback of the future? That's another reason why I'm kind of against Aaron Rodgers being traded. Not just really the cap. I mean, the cap is okay. I mean, if it hopefully if he does come and he does exercise it, okay. But now let's talk the trade of drafting picks. Green Bay is not going to get anything less than a first and a second round pick. Um, I mean, Nate, it's like you said, it's iffy because, bro, Aaron Rodgers, it's Aaron Rodgers. You know, it's like what you said about Brady. Brady's Brady, Rodgers is Rodgers.
Yeah,
But the thing is, that's what you're telling the fan base. Now, am I all for it? Oh, hell yeah. You're telling me you
yeah,
want to win now? You want to go get a championship now? Yes, but you're banking on that is what's going to happen.
yeah.
You are going to go win a Super
We're
Bowl.
banking on if we do it or not, like
Yeah. And if you don't win a
for like
Super
the
Bowl,
next 1 year.
then the talk of him retiring, he's always talking, I want to I might retire, I might not, this and that, going back and forth with the Packers organization. That's really what could have threw Devontae Adams out of the Packers organization. All this not knowing who's going to be the quarterback the following season. I mean, even though Devontae came to the Raiders and he's kind of there now, not knowing who is going to be the quarterback of the Raiders next season. So where does that
Yeah,
leave us? That leaves us banking on going get Aaron Rodgers. You go get Aaron Rodgers. You give up your first round pick. You give up your second round pick. I'm cool with that, as long as we win a championship. You're
yeah.
banking
If
on the
we could,
fact
yeah.
you're gonna go win a Super Bowl, and I'm all for
That's what's
that.
a little scary for me though, because like if we give up and like if we don't win, like if we just don't win, like our future is kind of oofed. Like at that point, we won't have enough. We won't have enough picks to revamp our offense with 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 Stiddy as our QB after Rodgers just doesn't do anything after signing, and then he retires. Next thing you know, this man Devontae's like, I don't know anymore, or something like that after his contract.
I don't think Devontae will leave the Raiders. This is his childhood team he grew up with. But of course, he
No,
does want
after
to
his
win.
contract, though.
At the end of the day, he does want to win. That's not taking anything from Devontae. Devontae wants a Super Bowl championship. The Raiders have to had to have him buy in that, okay, they're gonna win a championship while I'm here. Now, Sean Johnson brings out a good point. We need to bring in a veteran quarterback and draft a quarterback because of the complex system. So we're really in a tough position. And that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. If you send a first and a second of this year to the Packers, then you're back to third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh round pick, still having to build that defense and still having to draft a quarterback. Now, there is a lot of late round quarterbacks. There's Tanner McKee. There's Jaron Hall. Those are the only two quarterbacks. I mean, I'm hearing Malik Cunningham from Louisville too. But Malik Cunningham, we talked about, he's dealing with a shoulder injury, and it's in his throwing shoulder. Not really high on him. I don't really want to bank on the fact, okay, we have to go and not only build the defense with limited draft capital, but we got to go get a quarterback of the future. While we have now, I'm not saying don't get Aaron Rodgers, because I'm just saying there's pros and cons to getting Aaron Rodgers. The con is the draft capital we're going to be sending away, but the pro is, are we getting a better quarterback? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, between Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr, that's a no-brainer. And it's crazy because I see on social media that Derek Carr had a bet. People are like, well, Derek Carr had a better season than Aaron Rodgers, or Derek Carr is better than Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, in what world is Derek Carr better than Aaron Rodgers?
I
Show
don't
me
know,
the
man.
NFL MVPs. Show me the one super. I know Rodgers has one Super Bowl ring. Hey, that's one Super Bowl ring more than Derek Carr has. Like, in
That's
what
something the
world is
man
Derek
has
Carr
that he
better than
doesn't.
Aaron Rodgers? In no world is he better. So if we do get Aaron Rodgers, you're getting a better quarterback, getting possibly the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, what's your take on that, Nate? I mean, the pros and cons looking at it.
I mean, for me, I just extremely want to draft a quarterback in this draft. I don't want to draft a quarterback in the next draft. So it kind of sucks about like the feeling that we would actually have to give up like a decent value of draft picks for Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, hopefully it goes to a. If we do it, he does good for us.
Because I'm thinking we're giving up draft capital this season, but also next season's draft capital. I'm seeing a lot of mock trades happening, and if Aaron Rodgers is sent to the Raiders, Raiders could give up 3 draft picks. Now, Sean Johnson is correct. We have a lot of draft capital. It's not saying we have limited. It's just first and second round. I mean, it's a hit or miss, really. It's a hit or miss with first and. I mean, that's the whole draft. Now we're talking Raiders here. Raiders love raidering the draft up by reaching for draft picks
Yeah.
and for players. 13, 14 draft picks, you could play with that. You can play with
Yeah.
that. Now, Van City has a good point here. To get a solid quarterback, we need to give up draft capital regardless. Like, that is true. You got to give up, like, either way, because then let's say we're going to draft a quarterback. Like, I mean, that's draft capital wasted right there. Like, my thinking is that's why I'm like, there's a pro and con to this. But do we have the draft capital to play with? We do. But would I like rather to pick in the first and second round? I would. That's just me, though. I'm not Ziegler. I'm not Josh McDaniels. I'm not Mark Davis.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers to Devontae in the silver and black, bro. I've been a Raiders fan for 20 years, and I haven't seen anything remotely close to that epic. And that's where I'm at. That's what Van City.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like. It's a pro and a con. It's a pro and a con for me, because if you get Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he already got that, like, Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams. Like, we seen what they can do. We seen
Yeah.
when Aaron Rodgers has probably a top 10 running back, but this one he would have a top 1 running back. And I think we will still need to get a wide receiver too. You can still build this team around Aaron Rodgers, but you still got to go draft a quarterback. And you're going to, because if you trade Aaron Rodgers away, you're going to miss on the CJ Strouds. You're going to miss on the Will Levis. You're going to have to then bank on, okay, we're going to go get a Jaren Hall or go get another guy that I don't know who they would be looking at late in the round. And it's like you said, you don't want to be picking a quarterback next season unless, again, you're going in the late rounds. But I've been, a lot of people's like, oh, we need to go get Caleb Williams, go get Drake May. We got to think about this. If you're banking on, okay, we're going to go get Drake May and Caleb Williams, then you're assuming Raiders are going to tank next season. Like, the only way you get Drake May and Caleb Williams is if you're picking at the top 10 again or top 5. That's the only way. Beer says, I've been saying this all season. Y'all need to use this draft to build a team next season. Going to be a low for y'all, not going to lie, but at least you can pool money so you can get good players. And this is where it's the business side of it, really, in the NFL. We talked to this with a lot of Niner fans because they think they're going to go back to the playoffs. The business decisions that you guys are going to have to make are not going to be good ones because you're going to have to really pull with that money that you guys have, and you're going to have to try to bring back a lot of good players. That's what the Raiders are kind of in. They got to see where is this money going to get them. The money bought them Devontae Adams. It bought them restructuring of Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow, and then it brought them Chandler Jones. The problem is the money is not worth the investment. If that makes sense, Darren Waller was not getting paid to play. He was getting paid to be on the bench. Same with Hunter Renfrow. Chandler Jones was basically paid to be a decoy. He's not getting paid to be a decoy. He's getting paid to get sacks. He only has 4.5 sacks on the season. We need to use that money to go get good players. That key so we can get good players. That's if the Raiders do it.
Yeah. Hopefully Ziegler goes crazy.
That's what we're hoping for. What's your take on that, Nate? Like, what when it comes to the money and Aaron Rodgers' money, and then if he comes here, okay, where can that money get spread to the defense? And really, how can you build this defense with no first round pick and no second round pick? There is this linebackers draft class is deep. This defensive class is deep. Me and you have been studying this defense, and there's a lot of guys that we like in the late rounds. What is your thoughts?
Yeah, this draft is actually stacked with defense, which is, perfect for us. Uh, but building for a starting defense to expect us to go to a Super Bowl is kind of crazy. At most of those guys are great depth pieces behind veteran stars that we should be having on each position, like linebacker, corner, and D line. That's where that kind of messes up because we kind of need the money to get those big name guys too for the defense, in my opinion, in order to revamp the defense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. And like Van City said, shout out to Van City. Aaron Rodgers will only be a $15 million cap hit next season, so you still have money to build the defense up. Sean Johnson says Anthony Richardson maybe in the second or third. You're really thinking about the third because if Aaron Rodgers does come here, first and second is gone. Your first and
yeah,
second round pick is gone. So you won't have a draft pick until the third round. And the thing is, are you using that? And this goes back to what we've been saying, Nate. It all depends what the Raiders do in free agency.
yeah,
What do the Raiders do in free agency? If they address the needs in the defense in free agency, then maybe you don't have to really worry about who they get in the draft. I mean, you still do, but like if we're talking about early rounds, it's like, okay, we could miss out because we got a Deron Payne, we got Jordan Poyer, or a Jesse Bates, or some of these top end guys on the defense side of the ball, like a Tremaine Edmonds. If you go out and you go get those guys, then yeah, you really don't need to worry about having a first and second round pick because you can then use that third round pick on Anthony Richardson. Hopefully he falls there because he's getting a lot of hype, or even a Hendon Hooker in the third round. But I think Hooker will probably go in the second. Sean Johnson think about this. With that bad of a defense, if we executed one touchdown in 7 games, we would have been 13-4 or 14-3. That's crazy, and that is true. I believe outside of the Chiefs and the Saints game, we were in every game this season. If we had
yeah.
one touchdown more against the Rams, one touchdown more against the Steelers, one touchdown more against the Niners, like
And
there's
people be
so
doing
many
that in
games that
13
we could have
seconds.
won if we just got one more touchdown.
And
Like,
people be getting touchdowns in 13 seconds. Like, huh?
damn Chiefs. Beer says, I think this next season let Stidham play. Use the draft to go defense and offense plays. Offense plays get a quarterback next season with the rookie contract if Stidham does bad. Um, That's what you don't want, though. If you're McDaniels, not saying as Raider fans, if you're McDaniels, that's not what you don't want that, because Mark Davis does not have time to play. Like if you are like if you shit the bed again next season, you're gone. You and your homeboy are gone.
Yeah,
Like I think Mark Davis has made that known.
trying trying to like trying having a plan to be better next season after oofing this season as Josh McDaniels. Yeah, you would not want to do that. You would hopefully want to get better this season
Like, not
or
saying
next
this is a
season.
bad idea, but you got to really then build, like, really build on that defense, really build on the offense, and hopefully Stidham can pull some games out, because Stidham still has a lot to learn. He show flashes? He did, but he still has a lot to learn. A lot to learn. Tomb Raider, shout out to Tomb Raider. We can't build this offense to dethrone the Chiefs, in my opinion. I agree, because we tried to do it the last offseason. We failed at that. We have to build a defense to beat the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos, period. Defense wins championships, but you still do need an offense to score touchdowns. We did, and we created an offense that can score 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns. We get lucky, hell if we get 5 touchdowns. But 3 or 4 touchdowns, that's really all you
Yeah,
need, as I seen with these division games. That's really all you need. And if you can get some defensive stops, turnovers, 3 and outs against the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos, you have a really good chance of winning those games. We were in every division game. We swept the Broncos. We beat the Chargers one time. We split with them, and we got swept by the Chiefs. I really like that. Doesn't surprise me, because I feel like every season we always sweep the Broncos. We always split with the Chargers, and then we always get swept by the Chiefs. Like that, we just have to figure out, how do we
yeah,
sweep the Chargers? How do we sweep the Broncos? And I would say this: how do you split with the Chiefs? I wouldn't even be like saying you need to
yeah.
sweep
Because
the Chiefs.
Mahomes is
How do
like
you
in his
split
prime.
with the Chiefs? How do you make it a rivalry? A rivalry is not a rivalry if it's always one-sided. Like, they keep talking about the Raiders Chiefs rivalry. There's no rivalry there. We've been the Chiefs bitch for years. Sean Johnson says, or Beer says, the Pats did it with Mac Jones, where they let him play and they just try to build, and then they got a quarterback the following season. They still got to figure their shit out, though, with the Patriots. Sean
Yeah,
Johnson says, get Deron Payne as defense tackle, linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, Julian Love or Jesse Bates, and I like in the draft Drew Sanders. That's Nate's guy. Nate loves Drew Sanders. Emmanuel Forbes and Tulia. I'm gonna butcher that name. I don't know
Tula
how to say
Tupulatu Tupatu.
it. Hey, you're better. You're
I
better
don't know,
guess
bro.
than mine. But
That was just
Drew
a guess.
Sanders, it's crazy, Sean John. If you go back to our mock draft live, Drew Sanders fell to us in the second round. I thought he would be gone in the first round, but somehow he fell to us in the second round. If you can have that happen, oh my goodness. Nate built a scary defense. I'll say that with his mock draft. Nate built a scary defense. Beer said, that's what I'm saying, though. If you
Yeah,
stack Stidham with a decent team, I feel like they could be a sleeper. And that's, who knows? I mean, that's the thing. Like, Brady wasn't Brady until given a chance. And I'm not saying Stidham will be Brady. I'm not saying that. But what if Stidham, all he needs is a chance? And he just balls out. Like, we don't know what we
it's
see.
just hard because yeah, it's just hard. No, you were gone. My bad.
Bro, Big Mike, this man just say Miss Primos. I mean,
Oh,
that's right. That's the right. That's the right pronunciation. But I was just like, bro, I don't think that's the right pronunciation. I don't know. But hey, salute to Big Mike. Salute to the brother Big Mike.
Stidham. It sucks because he only had one regular season. No,
He had
two
2 games. He didn't
two
have a
regular
regular
season
season.
games,
He played, I think, 1 game for the Pats, and he threw like 1 or 2 interceptions in that game. And
and
then he
and
had 2 games under the Raiders, and he showed flashes. Like, you're going off of that. He still has a lot to learn, but give Stidham a whole offseason as the number one quarterback. Hey, Big Mike, it's all good, bro. It's all good. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's the right pronunciation, but I could be wrong because my Spanish is shit too. So, but that's why I think I agree with Beers here. I think the Raiders could be a sleeper with Stidham. I think all Stidham needs is a chance. That's all he needs is a chance.
Yeah.
Because Purdy got a chance, Mr. Irrelevant, bro. Mr. Irrelevant. The last pick in the draft went on an 8-game win streak. And who's to say if he didn't get injured, could that game with the Eagles been a different game? Who's to say that? You know, you got to give Stidham a chance, man. You got to give Stidham a chance.
Eagles.
That's all I'm
Eagles
saying.
be selling.
Van Cedar says Aaron Rodgers' ball sack is greater than Derek.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, man. Would you say this? Would you say this, Nate? Stidham has already showed us he's better than Carr.
Mm. Um, better than right now. Right now,
In
yeah.
those two games.
Right now,
Let's
yeah.
go with
But
right now. Let's forget about the 9 years. Let's forget about the 9 years. Let's talk about right now how the 2022 season went. Derek Carr over 3,000 yards, I think 3,600 yards to be exact, 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Jared Stidham had 4 touchdowns, over 600 yards passing, with 3 interceptions.
he's kind of there. Like, what did he throw? 3 touchdowns? Haven't seen that in a while.
4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns in a game, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
that's
Two
where this
touchdowns
is
in
where I'm
each.
at too. Like this is where I'm at too. He has the potential. I think he has the
Like, do you
potential.
want him to? Do you want him to be the bridge quarterback for our
Yeah,
drafted quarterback, or like
like that's where I was leading towards this season. Stidham could be the starter, but you still go get maybe a CJ Stroud or a late round guy like an Anthony Richardson, or if Hendon Hooker falls, go get Hendon Hooker. You have either of those quarterbacks learn behind Jared Stidham. Um, that's where I'm. That's where I'm at. If you go get Aaron Rodgers, I'm cool with that. I'm not. There's pros and cons to it, but I think Stidham deserves a chance. Like I would like to see Stidham get a chance.
yeah, he does. He deserves one. I just, just Stidham. Like, yeah, of course I would want him to do very well, like, and just go on a rampage for his career. But man, do we? He is the cheapest option. He is the cheapest option.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He's a cheap option, and it gives you more money to play around with. Um, even though we wouldn't be actually in total cap shit if Aaron Rodgers was here, there's just like I said, man. There's uh, hold on. There's just a lot.
There's like,
Hold on, no, Big Mike just hit me up. Hey, no, like I said, I knew there was he he Googled it, bro. The
mm,
translation. That's like a funny. No, he
um,
was right. He was right. No, he was right. Shout out to Big Mike, bro.
mm.
Shout out to our primo Big Mike. And our cousin, everyone's primos up in here. Now let's move on. Let's move on with the talk. Now we gotta talk about the talk of the town, talk of Vegas. A
San
guy that
Francisco,
a guy
huh?
that is being known as Voldemort of Raider Nation. He is the guy that shall not be named, but we're still gonna
Oh,
talk. We're still gonna name Derek Carr. This was reported a day, actually 2 days ago, day ago. It was reported yesterday morning that Derek Carr won't extend the February 15th trigger date on the contract. When asked about why he won't do it, Derek Carr had this to say. Derek Carr said, "I don't think that would be best for me." Derek Carr has no plans to extend the February 15th deadline in his contract that triggers a $40.4 million in future guaranteed money to help facilitate a trade from the Las Vegas Raiders. The February 15th deadline marks the date in which 40.4 million in injury guarantees become fully guaranteed. Having the date a month before the new league year and free agency opens puts the onus on the Raiders to make a decision. Can the Raiders agree to a trade, or do they cut Carr before the deadline to avoid those guarantees? Um, what do you? So I was going to ask you now. Another report. This came out today, I believe.
Huh.
No, this came out later in the day. Of that report that the Raiders, right after he said that, the Raiders allowed Derek Carr to speak with teams that have agreed to compensation. This is what Adam Schefter reported. The Raiders already have granted quarterback Derek Carr permission to speak with other teams interested in trading for him that have also agreed to compensate with the Las Vegas Raiders. In the same arrangement the Texans had with quarterback Deshaun Watson last offseason. So with these reports, Nate, like it seems they're trying
Lot
to
top.
come to a compromise, but they're not coming to a compromise. Like,
Yeah.
and I was gonna
I
ask you the question that NFL asks: what do the Raiders do here? Do they trade or do they cut him?
I mean, yeah, obviously gonna have to trade. I mean, no, not have to, but you kind of like your goal is to want to like trade him, but if I feel like they're texting David Carr at this point. Like this man, David Carr is like, no, let's do all we can to just troll this whole franchise.
No, for
But
real. And it's like Big Mike said, DC is choosing violence. I hope we figure this out. And really, the ball's in the Raiders' court. What do the Raiders do here? And the thing is, if people are not familiar, this is why Derek Carr wants to be traded. A lot of people is like thinking Derek Carr does not want to be traded. And they're wrong. Derek Carr does want to be traded. The reason why he wants to be traded is to save face. Like him and his team came out and said they want him to save face. They don't want him to be humiliated
yeah,
because him getting cut. That's just kind of proving like, hey, no, bro, like we don't want you here. I mean, the Raiders made it known they don't want you, Carr. So if they can't find a trade partner, like bye bye, you're not staying here. You're gonna get cut. It is what it is.
yeah,
But then you say you want to be traded, you prefer to be traded, but you don't want to extend that February 15th deadline. I'm cool with it. Business is business. You want your money still. Hey, if I was
yeah.
here, I still want my money too.
Maybe he's
But
gonna make a trade a little sooner. I don't know. Maybe
basically,
it's
that's what he's putting. No, that's what he's putting on the Raiders. Like, you guys gonna have to find a trade party. Like I said, they got 10 days basically. They
yeah,
got 10 days to find someone. And correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I don't know how it works, but that's even if the trade is finalized. Like, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to trading before the new league year starts. That has to happen so the Raiders don't get any that they have to pay him any guaranteed money. I don't think they would have to, even if they trade early in this year. But yeah, there's a lot like going on between the Derek Carr and the Raiders trade talks and this divorce. Like it's getting ugly. Like let's be honest, it's getting ugly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just that like we don't want to hear, and then he's like, I bet. You know what I'm saying?
How do you how do you
I mean,
how do you feel about what he said on NFL Pro Games after he won that precision passing challenge?
that man was like, it's
He
probably
roasted
like
himself.
I'm not gonna be here. Uh, I don't
Dude,
know why, cause he like him being in Vegas said that is crazy. Well,
I think like it's funny because I'm like, bro, I had no idea Derek Carr could be this petty.
like, yeah,
I had
he was just
had
like,
no idea he could be this. Him and his
doesn't
family, bro. Like no, like I'm sorry, bro. They're all petty. Him, his brother,
well,
his
David
cousin,
probably told him to say that. Be like,
petty,
do the
bro.
best and then say that. Be like,
And
make
then
a
for
point
everyone saying,
about
bro,
your
for
offense.
everyone saying,
No,
I mean,
exactly.
I couldn't go out there and put 31 points in precision passing. But I will say this, for an
I
NFL quarterback
mean,
that has no defensive rush coming at him and no one guarding those targets, I mean, I expect you to do that. You're an NFL quarterback.
right? I mean, Russell did that last year, and he sucks.
Speaking of which, bro, the Broncos signing Sean Payton to a 5-year deal. They traded for him. I'm telling you,
He's a good
and this
coach.
might, if it comes back and bite me in the ass, I don't really give a fuck. I hope it
He's a
comes
good
back
coach,
and
though.
bites me in the ass. Russell Wilson's gonna have a better next season.
Yeah, he's gonna have a better season, like no doubt.
So the Raiders got to figure this shit out. Like
Like
they have to figure this shit
they
out.
had no real head coach. Like like Nathaniel Hackett isn't like a real head coach. Like he isn't supposed to be on the job. Like he's an OC. But now he has a real head coach. Probably almost as knowledgeable as Pete Carroll. Like this man has all the knowledge in the world, bro. He Drew Brees taught him things. He taught Drew Brees things. Like they're gonna have a better season, and they have freaking their defense is just building a little more this offseason. But that's
Yeah,
not, bro. We're
their
gonna sweep
defense. I
these.
mean, their defense has always been. Their defense has always been good. And that's the thing. Big Mike says 5-year deal equals continuity for Russ. They could be dangerous, and the Raiders have a lot to figure out. Not only do you need to make sure this offense can score points and compete with these other offenses, but that you have a defense that can stop them. Like that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got 10 days, guys, and we're gonna have to be watching this Raiders and the Derek Carr news really closely. I think it's decision time. I think the Raiders are on the clock right now. You got 10 days
Yeah.
to find a trade partner. If these trade partners do not want to work with you, sorry, Derek Carr, you are likely going to get cut. Not even
Yeah,
likely, you will get cut if
and
they
don't
cannot
be
find a
mad
trade
about it.
partner.
On
Now,
God.
hope the Raiders get a trade partner because if you could get draft compensation for Derek Carr, I mean that helps. That really helps in the long run for the draft. But anyways, guys, we're gonna hop out of here. Thank you guys for pulling up. Shout out to Beers, Big Mike. Shout out to Sean Johnson. Shout out to Tomb Raider. Shout out to Van City. Shout out to Aladdin. Everyone that pulled up. Thank you guys. On the way out, hit the like, subscribe. Our goal is trying to get to 500 subs before the season starts. We appreciate you guys. Hit also so you guys can be notified when we upload another live or a short video. We love you guys. Peace. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a good Sunday tomorrow. We'll see you guys later. Peace.